Here we go. Hey, it's Del Jackson. We got a different logo tonight, so I don't know if you can see me. My head will be bobbing in and out, and the green room and the white room, and I don't know, but we're gonna try something new, and that'll probably be our logo for the year this year. So we're working. LO Hoops is working on masks, Coach. What do you think of that? Coach Tim Speraw is with us tonight. We're gonna have black mask with that logo behind me. What do you think? Huh?
That looked good.
Well, the more I thought about it, I said, you know what, this thing might go away, but it doesn't look like it's going away anytime soon. So I figured maybe that'd be some good marketing for the teachers if they're back in school, or even if you go in a grocery store. It's like, what would be cooler than an LO Hoops, mask? Maybe a Boston Red Sox mask for you. I don't know.
Yeah, I already have one.
I know you do. Hey, this is Del Jackson. We got Tim Speraw from Lebanon High tonight. It's just me and Solo and Tim, and that's okay. We got some Lebanon roots, both of us, and we'll talk about that a little bit. But first, Coach, what we'll start off is a little bit about your background, your playing background, and your coaching background. Let's get us started on a good foot here.
Okay. Well, I played at Lebanon. I'm a homegrown Lebanon kid. Grew up in the city. Lived there my whole life until I went away to college. Lived in Reading for a couple years, kind of in the middle of college, and then came back to Lebanon to teach. I just finished up. It's getting so long now. It's either my 17th or 18th year. I'm not even sure. But then I just finished up my 10th year as the head coach. I did 4 years with Coach Blackburn. 1 year with Coach Coletti, and then 2 years on the girls' side with the infamous Coach Sanchez. So I was over with him for 2 years, and then I got the head position for the Cedars.
Wow, that brings back some names. I believe it or not, today I was looking through old baseball cards. I bought 20,000 baseball cards and miscellaneous stuff for my nephew. I'm there like, oh, this would be a good thing. And I'm looking through it, and I have these old magazines. Okay. So in one of the old magazines is a Sports Fever magazine. All right. And it features Lebanon High playing somebody, I think it was Manaya and all that group. I don't know if you were part of that coaching staff or not. So I was going to tweet that out like today, but I'm there like, man, look at this stuff. It's crazy.
Yeah.
That was part of that group.
That was my first year coaching at the high school level. I did a couple years at middle school when I was in and out of college, and then that was my first year, and we ended up winning the LL that year.
That was I tell you, that was a fun team to watch. There was no doubt. There were some characters on that team, if I remember correctly.
And we were big. That was the biggest team.
I talked to Coach Blackburn. I was coaching at the time, and I think I sat down with him, and I'm like, Coach, I couldn't figure out what the heck you're doing. You're hollering at this exchange guy, and you're hollering at him and pretending like he doesn't know what the heck he's doing. And then all of a sudden the ball's going in the post. I'm like, how cool is that? I mean, talk about deception. I said, did you get that from Coach Lebo or what? It was like one of those things. I'm looking at him like, what in the heck is he doing? And it's like, oh, I'm sitting courtside in a playoff game, and I'm watching as a reporter. I'm like, oh, now I got it. What a group of guys, man. That's pretty cool. That really is really is. Okay, so you and I have talked about this before. Hopefully we'll have basketball this year, but if it is, it'll be year number 11 for you. Mm-hmm. And according to our records, LO Hoops records, that would make you the longest standing coach in the LL and the Cedars. I mean, the Cedars, they for a while there, they had a lot of turnover, and I know they've had some good teams and coaches left for various reasons. So, I mean, how is it that you can survive 10 or 11 years? Let's just put it as it is, because there's not a lot. I know you and Tommy are about the same in Cedar Crest, but there's not a lot of coaches that go 10 or 11 years in this league. Right.
I think just kind of sticking to our philosophies and just making sure that we're doing things the right way. And a lot of times that involves more so what we're doing off the court, and just trying to turn these kids into good young men. And it's something that I just thoroughly enjoy. I love being around the kids. I mean, these past couple months were were hard. It was great because I got to be around my own kids more, which obviously, as a coach becomes a struggle. You go months and even times in the summer where you're away and you feel like you're with your players more than you're with your own kids. So that was a good thing that I was able to, and I got one creeping up on me right here.
Go. She wants to be on TV.
Yeah, she always does.
That's good.
But it was these last couple months not being able to be with our kids in the gym. We got back at it about 2 weeks ago for open gyms, and just to see their faces and hear the ball bouncing on a hardwood court, it was special.
Okay, so since we're talking about this, how did you stay in touch, or did you just kind of take some time off and say, look, everybody be safe, and then we'll get back to it when we can get back to it? How did you deal with that as a head coach at Lebanon High?
I was when it first started. We were still in our school system. Like we have a school networking system that I have a group set up just for our players. So I was sending out workout programs, jumping programs, different things, videos that they could follow, all kinds of stuff, skill training. So that was kind of our first phase, and I just kept trying to rep it and get kids to do it. Now it's hard because I don't know if they're doing it. Some of them are giving me the thumbs up on a text, and I don't know if they did it or not. But like I kept telling them, time will tell if you've been working. And it's just kind of the thing that I kept trying to get across to them was, one day winter's going to come, and we're going to know if you were working out, if you were working on your handle, if you were working on your shot. So it was good to get back in the gym the last couple of weeks.
I'm assuming, and I could be wrong here because I don't have my finger on it yet, but I'm assuming when you guys open the gym, you got a lot of kids that want to get there and the mom's kicking them out the door and say, get your butt in the gym and do something constructive. I mean, have you had a good turnout at this point?
No,
No,
we haven't. Okay. We haven't. And it's part of it is just the times. I think over the past couple of years, our turnout has gotten a little bit lower and lower. And I think some of that's the demographics of our school is changing a lot. It's just different. It's different than it was even 5 years ago and 10 years ago. But our numbers have consistently been down. And the other day we had 9 was our open gym for our high school returning kids, which I'm happy that they were there. I'm glad that they were there. I know because of being off, a lot of our kids started picking up jobs, and they're working a lot more. So that's had a big effect on it too.
Yeah. I'm having some flashbacks. When I was coaching at Donegal, I was happy when I had 5. So everything is relative, Coach. I'm telling you, everything is relative. I've coached Section 1. I've coached section, at the time it was 3. We went into Cedarland. It was the first time Donegal ever played Lebanon. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, the score was 50-10 before halftime. And they had the lefty, the guy that played at Lebanon Valley, the guy that could dunk. He was an All-American at the Valley.
Anthony Troutman.
Oh yeah. He dunked 2 or 3 times. I'm there like, I'm not calling timeout. Let's see if he can do it again. It was wild. Yeah. It was just fun. Hey,
he's actually on my staff now.
Oh well, yeah. You've done well. That guy can play. I'm telling you.
He could.
I at the time, I wasn't on E-Town staff, but I was knocking on people's doors. I said, I'm telling you, this guy is going to be good. There's just no doubt. And he turned out to be a very special player, not only at the high school, but obviously at college. So
absolutely.
Me having some Lebanon County roots, not Lebanon High School roots. Lebanon Cedar Crest, always a big game. Now, you guys have played, it seems like 3 times a year for a while. How about we talk a couple of games that you remember, either as a player or a coach, some special games in the rivalry there?
I could talk a lot. I know one that we always talk about just amongst kind of friends that are from both sides was my junior year. We went into their place and beat them 90-50. and it was from the get-go. We were just putting it on them, and they actually came back one of the last games of the season on our court and ended up beating us. And that was when we had Kelleher and Coletti, but a good team. But yeah, we always talk about that because we just talk about how we put it on them at their place, but then they always come back that, they shocked us at our place. In terms of coaching, oh my gosh, there's so many.
Even the last couple of years, you guys have had some barn burners. Just the last couple of years, but
yeah,
I can think back and just kind of I love watching those games. Number one, because the kids get pretty fired up about it, and it's just for people that haven't been there, it's a little special, I think. Now maybe that's worn off a little bit since you guys are playing 3 times a year, and I think we had Coach from Crest, and he said. Tommy was like, I don't think we're going to play as much. We're going to try to get a game in or 2. So.
Right. Yeah. We tried to back off it a little bit. And that was just kind of Tommy and I talking for a while when we were both going into league playoffs and district playoffs, there was potential to play 6-7 times.
Yeah.
If we advanced far enough. I think the most we played in one season was maybe 5. Okay. Which is still a lot.
And you can hurt yourselves. Both teams can hurt themselves in the long run if they're knocking each other off. Yeah. Right. Hey, we had Coach Coletti on the other day, and again, I at the time he was playing, I was coaching at Penn Manor, and when I don't know if it was his junior year or senior year, it was probably his junior year, but we went up to Lebanon, and I can remember this to this day is we had a scouting report. And I said, you are not allowed to dribble in the back court. And the kids are like, what are you talking about? So you guys would be pressing the heck out of us. A kid would catch a ball. He'd look around. He'd take 2 dribbles. I'd send somebody out to the score table, take him out. He says, what's the matter? I said, don't you know those guys are going to steal you blind? And I said, I'm not going to sit around and watch it. I don't have enough timeouts to put an end to that stuff. So it was pretty cool. And they're like, oh, all right. Some throwbacks. So, So if we're not going to get into specific games, let's talk about the LL format and where like Lebanon was a Section 1 team, they were a Section 3 team, they were now we're in 2 with 5. Right. What are your thoughts, basically? I mean, you played it, you've been there, you've played Section 1, you've played Section 2, you've coached you've coached in just about all the sections, it seems.
Yeah. I like the format that we're in right now. I would not, whatever the format is, I don't want to get away from playing the Section 1 teams. I think that's important to our program to make sure that we're playing the top possible teams in our league. We were in section, I remember we were in Section 3 at one point when I was an assistant, and it was okay, but it almost felt not right.
It wasn't right for the Cedars, that's for sure.
Yeah, it didn't feel like a good fit.
No.
And actually, I think that was when Troutman played. I think it might have been Troutman's junior or senior year. Yeah. We went down there, and I didn't think it was a good fit. Yeah. I think in terms of our population, I think Section 2 is a good fit, but I love that we still cross over. I would not want to give up those crossovers. I love, we've developed a really good rivalry with Hempfield. Obviously us and McCaskey, Crest goes without saying. So even Township. So I definitely would not want to give up those crossover games.
And then you guys are still 6A, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. So you must be right on the edge of that 5A, 6A number. You got to be close.
Yeah, we've always been right on the edge. And the hard part is we have such a transient population that they'll take the numbers on, I think it's like October 1st. Right. And by October 31st, we lost 200 or 300 kids. Yeah. They're already out of the school and somewhere else. Yeah.
Well, let's talk about that, because your roster changes, and it's nothing against your school, but I know for a fact that sometimes you lose players from year to year, sometimes within the year. You said some of your kids just move and they're gone. And how do you deal with that with your team when you're losing players or you're trying to develop like I know last year you had some underclassmen, and you could be kind of building up to a really nice year coming up. So how do you deal with it? How do you, I guess it's hard to prepare for, but how do you deal with that when it happens? And how do you deal with that with your kids that are still in the program?
I think it's just the structure that we've kind of built is, you know, it's almost a next man up mentality. You never know if a kid's going to go down with an injury. You never know if a kid's going to move. There's times we don't know if a kid's coming back from his junior year to his senior year. And it's just the structure that we build, the core group of guys that stay together from, you know, basically their biddy days and come up through. And, you know, if we get kids that are good enough to play, we add them on. And, you know, if kids happen to leave, then it's just the next man up. And we just try to fill the holes and do the best we can. We know it's inevitable. Kids are going to come and go. So we just do the best we can and just try to fill.
You deal with it. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, Coach, I've lost you. Are you still there, buddy?
Yeah.
Oh, good. Oh, man. I know Dell couldn't talk for 15 minutes. I mean, he can, but it's like I got to have somebody to talk to. You know what I mean? I could watch the Red Sox. I'm watching a game now. I could watch the Yankees. I finally signed on to MLB. I was waiting. I said, are they going to cancel this season? I'm going to, you know what? I'm up with my subscription. I'm working around game times. It's like, you know, it's just a thing of the summer. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it really is. It really is. What are your thoughts about the COVID? You're a teacher, obviously, in the Lebanon High. And then let's start with that. What do you guys, as of right now, what's Lebanon High's plan?
We have phases prepared. And it looks as though, and this could change until school starts, but it looks as though we're going to start out in what they're calling the yellow phase. And it's going to involve a good portion of the kids being online. Like kids can choose to be online instead of coming in to school. But then there's also going to be kind of a split schedule with the population. And again, that could all change on day one. That could ride out through the end of the year. At this point, there's a lot of unknowns. We're going to know a lot more. We start in service the week after next. So we'll have 5 in-service days to really get a grasp on everything and try to figure out just where we're going from there. And, you know, as you know, as the world is right now, it's a crazy time, and you just got to kind of go with the flow and
well, there's the decisions that you and I aren't making, that's for sure. You know, there's some big decisions, and I think sometimes it's bigger than what our little group sometimes thinks. And
right.
It's a scary time. I mean, you know, today the Big Ten canceled, the Pac-12 canceled their football season. So, you know, we're just kind of hanging here in LO hoops and hoping we have something. And, you know, one of the things we're going to try to do, and I know we've done some live streaming. I don't know if we've gotten your team on yet or not, maybe once, but we will, we're going to try to get up there at Cedar Country and get a live stream game in. And one of the people that I work with is Small Player, Big Play, and they're doing a subscription thing where the kids can film the games, all games. Like you can do a softball game or a swimming meet or something like that, and then they upload it online, and then people can watch it. But it's a subscription thing. It's like I think it's $50 for the year, $5 for a month. But that gives you access to all the games if the school wants to get into it. So they also have like fundraisers. Have you guys talked anything about live streaming your games or football? Have you heard anything from your athletic department?
No, nothing that I've heard so far. Doesn't mean that it's not in the talks, but I know that right now they're just focused on the fall. So I wouldn't be a part of those discussions at this point.
Are you allowed back in the school yet, into your classroom? I know you're allowed back in the gym.
Yes. Yesterday was the first day that teachers were allowed to get back in there and start prepping their rooms, getting ready for the school year.
Is there a feeling amongst your teaching buddies that, I mean, I know everything's up in the air, but can you get a feel for like, we really don't want to come back, or we want to get the kids in, or if it's like 50-50?
Yeah. From what I hear, it's about 50-50 of really concerned, and people that are just, I'm ready to come back. I'm ready to start teaching again. And obviously with different restrictions and masks, and we're talking about, different face shields and
yeah,
and all that stuff, and smaller classes with kids more spread out, which is hard for us because our population is just big. We have big class sizes as it is, but so I think that part will be a good thing because it naturally reduces the class size, which is easier on the kids and more beneficial for the teachers and the students.
Yeah. Are they going to record your lessons?
There's talk of that for kids that are at home on those days. But at this point, I think that's what we're going to find out next week is really what we're moving towards.
Yeah. I know things. I know things change. All right, let's change the topic here a little bit. Something that I wasn't prepared to talk about, but I see the big B up there on the thing. Now, I have, I got a lot of NY stuff here, so it's not that I'm against the B guys, but they kind of rub it in sometimes. So tell us about your background with Boston, when you started liking them, and all that.
I liked Boston back when Boggs and Clemens were playing for them. Little bit of fan. My brother is a huge Red Sox fan, so it was easy to follow something behind him. My dad used to like the Boston Braves and then went with them to Atlanta. So my brother was more the Red Sox fan, and I stuck with that. And it was a tough go there for a little while when I was young, but but then it obviously got better there in the 2000s.
Oh, yeah, there was some wild game with the Yanks. Yeah. All right, tell us about your kids.
I have an 8-year-old son. He is into everything and anything. He's playing football right now. I have him signed up for baseball and soccer just in case football falls through and one of those two stick around. He obviously likes basketball, loves basketball. And then I have a daughter who is 5. I don't know if she'll ever pick up a basketball. I don't know if she cares that much about it. She loves going. She loves cheering me on. She's always asking, "Hey, when are we going to the Cedar Dome to is your team?" Like when I say I'm going to the gym for open gym, she's like, "Oh, do you have a game tonight? Like I want to go." And she loves that. She loves cheering me on and the Cedars, but I don't know. I don't know if she's going to pick up a ball or not. We'll see.
I know. I just know when I was young, I don't even know how old I was, but my father was a principal there at one point. And I remember when that school opened, the orientation, and we did that. And every time I go, I'm just like, I'm looking around for the Sam Bowie picture. I looked in the trophy case. I'm there like, oh man, this place is special. I met your principal last year, and he knew my dad, and we had a nice chat. And you guys do. I'll tell you another thing that I think is very special for you guys. And I know everybody does it. They have the Hall of Fame thing, but it seems like I was up there the other year, and there was a lot of I think Coach Sanchez was in that year. That was one of the enrollees.
Yeah.
But it seems like you guys there's a history part there that seems like it's just so different than other schools that I go to. And I know when I was coaching, I used to have guys up in that right-hand corner. They'd holler at me the whole game, and I swear that they lived there. I think they're still there when I go. They were up in the right-hand corner, always watching the other. They would be hollering at you, and I'm like, oh, I'd wave to them when I go by. But it's one of those crowds that really understand the game, one, and they have a real true sense of history. Is that part of the Lebanon culture? I mean, you've lived it, been there, coached it.
Yeah, I think so. There's a lot of diehards in our community that are just great supporters. A lot of times if we get to an away game early, we'll see 6, 8, 10 Lebanon people there before someone from the other team even walks in the gym. They're there early just for the JV games. But yeah, the history, it's something that I talk to the kids about a lot. Not just the 1,000-point scorers up there, but we talk about the banners that have the section champs, the league champs, and I try to talk about the years that I know
Mm-hmm.
and tell them about different players that played. You know, whether it be, you know, I'll still say today, Chris Kelleher is the best defensive player that I've ever seen or played with or against on a court. He was amazing. And I tell stories about him. Jason Coletti on the same team, just the triple overtime game against Solanco,
Yeah.
where we beat Johnny Miller and Shima Dickinson and Jesse Kevicic, the one that went to Maryland.
Yes.
And Coletti just hit big shot after big shot. You know, we talk about those things, the Corey Thomas and Ed Donnelly, those type of guys. Just it's good to talk to the kids. I don't know if they're always listening.
Yeah.
But I think they do. I think they do for the most part.
Yeah.
The history is good.
Yeah, it's real good. I remember back when you guys used to play in the junior high. Again, I'm dating myself, a little guy, and I'm seeing Tommy Brandt put up all these points, and you're playing Steel High and Harrisburg, who was Central. It was Penn and Harris at the time. I mean, it's crazy. And then we go down to McCaskey, and you'd be playing on the auditorium at McCaskey. You'd be playing in the auditorium, and it's like, oh, don't slip, fellas. Whatever you do, don't slip. So talk about your team coming up this year. I know, I think I feel like a building. Andy would say, okay, coach, you've been building and we're going to put some pressure on you, but talk about your team coming up as far as, hopefully we're playing.
Right. I'm excited for them. I have two guards that are just a pleasure to coach, point guard and shooting guard. Luke Collins, who started as a freshman, the only player that I ever started as a freshman for a whole season. I think I had one other that started a couple games. And then Marquise, who really came on last year, and partly, unfortunately, because of Luke getting injured. So it was a little bit of a blessing in disguise. Obviously, you never want to lose your point guard, especially right in the middle of the season. But I'm excited for those two guys coming back. We have Isaiah Rodriguez, the quarterback for the Cedars. He's, I want to say, only the second kid that I've had in 10 years that is going to be 6'5" during the season, which is crazy. You talk about that Mania team. I think we might have had 5 or 6 kids that were 6'5" or bigger.
A very big team. Yeah.
And we just, for whatever reason, we haven't had a lot of size lately. So having a little bit of size, some good guards, and then we just have some solid role players that are gonna step into positions, and that's what we got to find. We just got to see what they can do and see if they can fill the holes. And I think those three as a big three is going to be pretty good next year.
Yeah. Usually, if you have 3 guys that can play, usually you're gonna do pretty good as long as you can fill in the pieces, as you say. So hey, I got a Kelleher story for you. You gonna love this? All right. So since you and I are chatting, so I'm at Penn Manor. He's playing for not Blackburn. Who's the coach after Coach Blackburn?
No, Kelleher played with Barnhart.
Barnhart. Okay. So
Barnhart.
I thought he was with Blackburn for a while and then Barnhart. He had Barnhart the whole time. Okay.
He had Coach Brookhart.
Brookhart, that's who I'm thinking of.
Okay.
Wayne with a straight hair. Yeah. Okay. So
that would have been a freshman or sophomore year.
Yeah. Okay. So we were playing them a couple times, and then I think you guys moved to Section 1 or something weird happened. But anyway, him and I it was so weird. He would sit on the bench. You know how the coaches are supposed to talk to each other before the game and say nice things and how you doing? And, it's like, oh, sorry, your guy got hurt, but not really, It's like, hey, is that guy eligible tonight? Well, I don't know. He might play, but Chris Kelleher's sitting beside me, It's like Barnhart would never sit beside me, but he was sitting beside me in the pregame. I mean, he's just sitting there. We're, having shoot around. He's sitting there. So, as you know, he was not the best foul shooter in the world. Okay.
Right.
So we were up by 2 with like 30 seconds to go, and we fouled him on purpose. Okay. So I'm there like, all right, that's the move. That's the move. He goes over there, bangs the first one, bangs the second one. He looks over and he winks at me. I swear to God, he winked at me. I'm like, oh my gosh. So we go back and forth. Kid shoots a foul shot. My best foul shooter's on the foul line, misses. And you guys go down, run the other end, get a layup at the buzzer. My kids run at your guys. I mean, we're up by 2. And they're running at these guys. I'm like, what are you doing? I can't call a timeout. I see the ball miss. I see the ball hop out. Callagher and Coletti are like, they're 10 feet in front of anybody I got back. And I'm like, what do you guys do? So he just winked at me. I'm like, oh, dude, man. I said, I am never going to do that again. Never. Oh, man. Well, that was crazy. I mean, it was just kind of fun. It wasn't anything mean. It was just, it was just him. It was so special. I mean, there's a lot of things, as you know, as a coach, if you've been around a long time, there's certain things, even if they're not wins and losses, that just stick out in your mind. You're like, oh my gosh. So what would be a normal thing for you guys to do in the off season, like this summer, like pretend no COVID? What would you normally do with your kids?
We would get in usually one summer league. Lately we've been in Hempfield's summer league over with Coach Walk. So we would do that. We'll do 1, possibly 2 team camps if we can get to it. And then what we've been doing lately is kind of an informal morning league. So no officials. We get about 8 teams. And Tommy, Coach Smith and I have been kind of running it, help from Coach Connors, Coach George at Northern Lebanon. And we'll just set up a schedule and rotate gyms. And you just go and you play 2 games. It's call your own fouls. We're still coaching and keeping score, but we don't have officials, and it kind of gets the kids to either, hey, I'm gonna own up and call a foul, like I want it, and they'll respect the call, or I'm gonna get tougher and not call a foul and just play through it. And it actually, we were worried about it when we first started it, but it's actually worked out great. Just, if we want to stop it in the middle of it to talk about something and instruct a little, we can. But for the most part, we just run the games, and it worked out good. So it saves money. There's no entry fee. There's no fee for officials. It's just we rotate gyms and we make it work. So we've done that for the last couple of years. And then usually the end of July, we pretty much just phase out because of football starting. I like to give 2 weeks before the football season for football to just start to get a hold of them and get them to their stuff and not want to just be at basketball.
Yeah. Well, all right. So we've covered a lot of things. My buddy Andy's not here, but he's going to want a shirt. I mean, that's the thing with him. It's like the only reason he invites people and talks to people, he says, I don't know Coach Tim. I said, well, I do. I said, but you got to go cover his games, man. I mean, that's the deal. You got to go cover his games. You got to get him. You got to get him after a W. I saw you guys at Spot last year. Neither team could hit the broadside of the barn. I'm like, when are you guys going to make a shot? It's like as soon as you made a couple shots, the game was it was pretty much over. But yeah, I mean, it was good talking to you. I really enjoy watching you coach. I swear. I mean, some people don't understand it, but I do. Well, 2 years ago, I'm sitting on the sideline at McCaskey. I sit either in the middle or I sit at the end. You're down there talking to me in the middle of the game, and I'm like, what am I supposed to say? Am I supposed to say, yeah, coach, you're right? It's like I'm here like, and the kids are looking at me. I'm like, I don't know what to say. Coach is always right, but I got the referees are looking at me. I'm like, don't tee me up. It's coach, not me, man. I'm not out of the box.
Yeah.
I do, seriously. I enjoy your passion, and I love watching your kids play. They play hard. There's a lot of respect going on there, and I really think, I could be wrong, I think you guys are headed for a really, really good season if we can play this game.
Right.
I'm hoping we can get it in, but time will tell. And like we said, you and I can't do too much about it. But you would look good with an LO Hoops mask on. You got to go with a Boston hat. You can rotate them, you know. One day you throw the one in the wash, the next day you throw the other in the wash. So I got one. As soon as school's open, I'm gonna put it in the mail. It might. You have to be patient. I might have to. It's going to be American made, which I couldn't believe, but it's coming. I got an order in, so it might be a month or 2 months, but I think you'll be able to put some use to it. So,
all right,
because you're my guest, you know how they do it on the TV. It's like, hey, this guy's the guest of our show. He gets a watch or something. You get a LL Hoops mask. You'll be the first, okay?
Yeah, awesome. Right. I'll send you guys some shirts.
All right, thanks, Coach. It's good seeing you. Stay
Always.
safe. Good luck with school opening. I know, you know, I'm on a school board here, and I know it's such an emotional thing with everybody, with the parents, and not even the sports people. It's just, you know, my kids are going to school. I need daycare, and you know, I mean, you're in the same you're in the same boat. You know, I mean, you got to take care of your kids somehow. So, you know, be safe. Good luck to you. Thank you. We'll have you on very, very soon. You'll be up there tonight. Thank you, Coach. Appreciate it.
All right. Thanks, Del. Always good talking to you.
You bet, buddy. Bye-bye.
All right. Thank you. Take care.